So I made a mistake by allowing a comment to get through on the latest video that I posted, and at first I was upset that this one comment got through, but then I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, you messed up a comment, and that's the reason why the comment got through. So in the end, you let your guard down and open yourself up to this, and you should know better. You should know that you can't let your guard down ever. That's the nature of the game. So I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to be upset that that comment got through, even though I wasn't particularly fond of this one comment. So the comment was, I'll go ahead and relate a comment to everyone on my channel because this person wanted to be acknowledged, obviously. So basically, this person was just like, I don't need God to be a good person, and I'm targeted. And since this person was lucky enough to win the comment lotto by squeezing one through, um, why not go ahead and give him his prize? I will make a video about this one comment. So first, I don't know what it's like to not believe in God because I've always believed in God. I've never not believed in him. So I wouldn't know what would happen if I never believed in God. I don't know what would happen. I honestly don't know what would happen. What would, you know, who I would be, what would happen, and I don't know that because that's never happened. So I don't know what it's like to be you. You're saying you're targeted. I don't know what it's like to be you. I mean, you can't, you know, you're saying you're targeted. That doesn't mean that you are targeted. You're saying that. I mean, you could be a gang stalker, and a gang stalker would say that. I mean, a gang stalker will say anything if you thought that it would piss me off and throw everybody off. I mean, you know, it's just what they do. And a lot of times they like to say stuff. And they're like trolls. They like to say stuff. And they hope people react to what they say. And I've dealt with lots of trolls, but I'm not accusing you of being that, because I don't know if you are or not. That's why I just keep comments cut off, because I don't feel like fighting with the people on my channel. But the point that a lot of the videos were supposed to make is that you don't get all of this by being a normal, regular person. I've covered every theory. I mean, whatever theory you come up with is going to have to be pretty extreme. I mean, there's no light way of explaining all this away. Now, there are a lot of things I don't tell people, but you're going to tell me that there's no God after all the things that I've experienced and seen, and I think it's almost laughable. I mean, so what is your explanation? Like, the thing about the comment that kind of got under my skin was that you're giving no explanation for anything. You're just making this baseless claim. You're saying, oh, well, I'm going to tell everybody that I'm targeted, and not really give any kind of explanation for why you think you're targeted. I mean, obviously you have an opinion on it. You're saying, oh, I don't believe in God, but I'm targeted, and I never gave any thought to why I was targeted. And there's a gang stalker. Let me zoom in. And I told people about this area, right? So look at him. He's up there. You see what I'm saying? Once they have established that I'm going to be in an area, they will set it up. So I was just in this area yesterday, and you notice how nothing happened yesterday. There was nobody on the balconies listening to me, right? And here it is today. So a gang stalker, they actually went through the trouble of having a gang stalker go into this place so that he could be out here right when I came out here, and they set this whole thing up. And you're telling me that they're doing all of this and there's no reason for it. Now, I mean, so are you a white guy? Because you sound kind of white. So you're a white guy, so that kind of knocks away a whole lot of the other theories that could explain this away without it, you know, having make some sort of sense. Because now, I mean, if whatever explanation you give, I mean, how many explanations outside of God do we have? How many explanations outside of God do we have? I could say that this entire community was the most racist, hateful community that has ever existed in the United States of America. I could use that as a possible explanation for this that takes God out of the equation. I could say Every minority out here is completely brainwashed by the KKK or white supremacists to the point where they can manipulate them and they have control over them and they're puppets. And the white man is their God at this point. He's literally their God, and any minority who doesn't bow knee to the white man is targeted. Or I could make a claim like that, as extreme as that claim is, and you might be able to sell it. But you sound awfully white. So I would say, well, you're saying you're targeted and you're white. So that would mean that obviously it has nothing to do with race. So it has nothing to do with race. So if it has nothing to do with race, then why were you targeted? Do you even know? Have you thought about it? Do you have an explanation for it? So I consider what you're saying a baseless claim, because even you can't explain why you're targeted, and you don't have a theory for why you're targeted. So you have nothing. You're working with nothing. You're just saying, well, I don't believe in God, I was targeted. Never gave it a second thought though. Just whatever. Don't know why. I have no explanation for it. So the point is that if you're gonna explain all this away, you're gonna probably have to come up with something like God in order to explain this away. As far as chosen one, well, I'm the chosen one regardless. The chosen one term, I like that you chose to use that chosen one term, because I don't want to get into why that term itself matters, but that term is in the Bible, and apparently you knew that. And you're saying you're not religious, but you knew that. See, I would know that. Because I'm a Christian, I would know that. So obviously there's a story behind that. You could be a gang stalker, you would know that I would know, and you would use that. It seems like a gang stalker term for you to use, but I don't want to make accusations. You're saying you're targeted and whatever, you're hoping I'd believe it. Maybe you're hoping I'd believe it. Well, you don't seem to have another explanation for why all this is happening. You're just some white guy and you're saying, oh yeah, they just randomly target people and everybody in the world is working against me and I'm a white guy. And I think that's an interesting take. Now, at first, I can't tell people that they have to be Christian in order to be targeted. I couldn't say that. At the same time, though, I'm thinking, well, the fact that you were targeted means that God exists even if you weren't a Christian, because you couldn't really get this in a normal situation. You couldn't get this. So there has to be something bigger going on, is the point. So the evidence of God is the fact that the entire world turned on you, and that makes no sense logically. So why are these creeps after me? And of course, you're saying that you are targeted. That makes you a liar. If you're white, that makes you a liar. If it's racist, then you're a liar. So we shouldn't listen to anything you're saying. You're automatically a liar. So why should we take you seriously? You're a liar. You're a confirmed liar. So everything you say is a lie. So we should just dismiss you immediately. But if you want to play it your way, I would say, well, why did they target you then? Do you even have an explanation for that? So people can say anything. Gang stalkers whisper evil messages in my ear all day. It doesn't matter. Every time there's some gang stalker, we have hate groups. And we could say, well, they're hate groups because you're colored and white people have to be better than you, and when they're not, they have to destroy you because it goes against their crazy worldview of things, or whatever Hitler taught them, and they need to feel strong or feel like they're better than people, and they're not, or lie to people. Who knows? Their emotional need, their emotional crutch in order to feel like they're better than people when they're not. I don't really need to get into that. It's just like overweight people need to bully people, and they need you to be poor so they feel better about being fat. And white trash, that's a term that the society gives them. White trash has to feel that being white is great so they can feel good about themselves. I mean, these are all theories, but I've seen things that are pretty extreme. And I think that if you go this extreme, that is going to be proof in itself that there's a God. So I can make a whole other video about all the evidence that I've seen over the years that there's a God. If there's not a God, then this is the most extreme conspiracy that's ever existed. And even if it was, it doesn't make any sense for the people to target me this way in the first place, taking us back to the original point I was making about your baseless claim and you having no explanation for any of this. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. And people, if you want to listen to this guy say that you could be targeted for any reason, that's a fair enough point. I think there is a reason, and it's extreme, and I think God does have something to do with it. I'm not these people, and they see that. You could call me the chosen one or call me whatever you want, but I'm not them. And they see that, which is why they're jealous and they're targeting me out of jealousy. Either jealousy or the fact that they have contempt towards God himself, and this is their way of enacting revenge. And, you know, because they were them. They were born them, and they felt like God gave them this bad deal in life. But they deserved it. They were monsters. They had bad souls. And the fact that they're acting like this is proof that they deserve their bad lot. They deserve to be ugly. They deserve to be fat. They deserved worse. Because they were horrible souls from the beginning. And God saw that. And he cursed them because they deserved it. But they don't feel like they deserved it. Even though they do. Look how nasty they are. Obviously, they're horrible human beings. They're horrible people. Psychotic. They attack people. I'm not God. Let's assume they were right. Let's assume they were right. Well, yeah, they get this bad deal from God. I'm not God, so I'm just another creation just like them. The fact that they would target the innocent means that they are just as terrible as God thought they were, and they prove that every day, and they deserve their miserable lot. They deserve to be ugly. They deserve to be fat. They deserve to be stupid, and they deserve the worst. And they prove it every single day that God was right to curse them. He was right about them. They are every bit the monsters that he knew they would be. And I don't see it any other way than that. And of course they could gang up on you and do all this crazy stuff, but that doesn't change the reality of the situation in my mind. Anyhow, with that said, let me go ahead and close.